Tuscaloosa to the nation, we locked in tight. Crimson blood run deep every Tuesday night. Breaking down the film, talking X's and O's. Every snap, every moment, yeah, we stay on our toes. From kickoff to the final whistle blow. If it's Alabama football, then we running the show. Championship mindset, standard never changed. Tradition dominance, yeah, we built that flame. Legends in the building, stories from the past. From Brian Denny lights to the trophies in the glass. If you love the tie, better tap in fast. Because we don't whisper takes, we make them blast. It's the Bama Standard. Nothing less, nothing random. Roll Tide talk, every angle covered. Tuesday Night Live, ain't nobody above us. It's the Bama Standard. Hot takes flying, can't stand it. If it's crimson and white, you know the channel. Welcome to the Bama Standard Network. We sit down with former Alabama legends, championship mindset, wisdom descending from the locker room grind to the biggest stage. They tell it how it was, page by page, stories you won't hear anywhere else. Built by the culture, earned by themselves. If you want the truth, straight from the source, this is where the legacy stays in force. Hosted by Justin Riley, setting the tone. Marvin Constant bringing knowledge from the field he's known. All Southeastern Conference mindset, linebacker vision. While Daniel Pettey keeps it sharp with precision. We don't sugarcoat, nah, we say what we see. If the take's too hot, that's fine, let it be. Push the limits weekly, truth over hype. If you're scared of real talk, this ain't your mic. We the roll tide, roll tide. From Saturday lights to the Monday debate, every win, every loss, we break it down straight. This the Bama Standard. Legacy demanded, history heavy, expectations massive. It's the Bama Standard. Real different, can't match it. Tuesday Night Live, lock it in, cause the dynasty talk never ends. Tide, you tuned in. Tide, you locked in. Tide, this is the Bama Standard Network. Roll Tide.
Ooh, roll tide, baby. We back. We in here. Welcome back to Bama Standard. Welcome to our guests in the live chat tonight. I expect all y'all to get rowdy tonight. That's my only request. I want y'all to get hype. But also, before you do all that, hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're not watching us live, that's okay. We got a replay that you can watch, but also get down in the comment section below. Tell us how you feel, whether you agree, disagree. It doesn't matter. We need the engagements. I'm Justin Riley, your host, and with me, as always, a living legend, the man who commands respect every time he walks down the strip. He's holding his finger to the air, saying, "Acknowledge me," Daniel Pettey.
What is up? I went back and watched that. He won the match. It was crazy stuff.
And Daniel Pettey, non-wrestling fans, is referring to WrestleMania. Night 2 was badass. Loved it. Shout out to Alabama alum Oba Femi for taking out Brock Lesnar in his WrestleMania debut. But listen, we got a new permanent resident here at the Bama Standard. He is a national champion. He's a Super Bowl champion. He used to break ankles like nobody's business. Matter of fact, I think they have ankle insurance clauses in insurance contracts now because of this man. But now he's permanent family. Derrick Lassic, what's up?
Nothing much. I'm glad to be part of the family. We're going to have a lot of great things to talk about this season. We're going to elevate the numbers. Let's go. Bama.
Let's go.
Yeah, I love that intro.
I was about to say we're gonna have to edit it now. We're gonna have to add a little Derrick Lassic part to that.
Classic Lassic. Always. Well, I start freestyling though. Oh, make me think back to my younger days.
Getting classic with Lassic.
There it is. All day, every day.
We're going to show the highlights too. Just make sure we don't get any copyright infringement. Do you give us permission? YouTube, do you hear this? Derrick, do we get permission to use your highlights?
You definitely do.
All right, YouTube, you heard it from the man, the owner of those highlights. We expect you to leave us alone when we put them on screen.
Back in the day of
That
good
is the
running
Bama
back
Standard. We family.
We are family. Hey, Pettey, I don't know if you caught a certain video that went viral last week, but in the comment section, we're not going to go into full detail. I think Mr. Constant addressed that very well last Tuesday. I don't know if you can call it a fan, maybe a troll, saying that because of the way a certain former Nick Saban player attacked us, that our podcast, oh, I'm sorry, let me back up. Our little podcast was done. Is our podcast done, Pettey?
Man, I don't know. I'm looking on the screen over here where I keep it up so I can chat with our wonderful fans, and it seems to be live right now, and there seems to be people watching. And we not only that, I love Marvin, but our legendary status kind of upgraded here in the past week or so.
We did. I mean, we went to platinum membership here.
Got $1 million smile up above us now, man.
$1 million smile.
Hey, look, for everybody who was up in Annie and had their panties in a wad, family sometimes fall out.
Yeah.
Nothing that we can't handle behind closed doors. I'm pretty sure there's no hard feelings on Marvin's end and Clinton Dix's end. Sometimes you just have disagreements. Like I told Marvin, I would have addressed it personally, but we come from different environments and different eras, so we handle things differently.
Well, in running backs and linebackers handle a lot. They just go about it different there.
Yeah. He's a little more defensive, but he was on offense then.
Well, I will say the mayor of Peace, I think Smoke Dixon started getting involved and may have brought some sides together. I don't know, but he may have tried to do what Smoke does and like you say, bring it back in the house. So
yeah.
And if we can't get it done that way, I mean, Smoke Dixon is a miracle worker. I will say that, Pettey. You can attest to that. We are in negotiations with the WWE right now to have Marvin and go one-on-one at Backlash. So we'll keep you up to date on that, folks. But hey, welcome in everyone. Excited to have y'all. A-Day is done, so now we got to keep you entertained some way or another, right? And give us a big roll tide in the chat. This is Derrick's first day as a full-time cast member, showing him some love. But now let's go to our first topic, quarterbacks. Imagine us and all the Alabama content creators talking about the quarterbacks, right? But I don't think we're going to be talking so much about the battle. It's more so about how they're going to be used and what the expectation is for quarterbacks in a Kalen DeBoer offense. And I'll kind of open this up, and then I'll let our key expert, Mr. Derrick Lassic, take over after that. Then I'll go down to Daniel Pettey. So, and Coach DeBoer's offense, the starting quarterback, Keelon Russell, isn't just a passer. He's the engine that makes everything go. This system is built on efficiency, timing, and smart aggression. If you don't process fast and deliver accurately, you won't survive in it. Here's what a DeBoer quarterback is expected to do, and please feel free to correct me at any time, Derrick. Has to be an elite decision maker. Fast, not fancy. The offense is heavily timing based. The quarterback has to diagnose coverages pre-snap and confirm them post-snap almost instantly. It's less about scrambling around and more about getting the ball out on time to the right read. Of course, high-level accuracy at all three levels is important. Short game, intermediate routes, deep shots, everything is on the table. The DeBoer system thrives when a quarterback consistently hits receivers in stride, especially on intermediate throws, 10 to 20 yards, which are a staple. I've said enough. Derrick, based on what you've seen on Coach DeBoer's offense all 2 years of here at Bama, and maybe you caught a little bit over there at Washington, what are the expectations for a quarterback, regardless if it's Keelon Russell, who we've anointed, or even Austin Mack?
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It's a timing offense. You want to get the ball into the receiver's hands and let your playmakers do their thing. There's really no hesitation. It's 1, 2, 3. It reminds me of the system we had with Homer Smith back in the day. The wide receivers and quarterback have to be on the same page. Now, with the quarterback, I think they handpicked this quarterback, right? Whoever the quarterback is, I'm going to say this quarterback. You seem to think it's going to be who you said, and I don't know yet. So he has the guy that fits his system. He doesn't have to try to adapt to the quarterback he inherited. So this is the first time we're really going to get to see how his offense is run. Bama Nation, be patient because these are these kids' first time starting. The young man who followed him from Washington, the quarterback Mack, I think it's not a gimme. You seem to think that Russell's gonna. I think Mack's gonna have a lot to say about that, and I think third or fourth game we'll know who the quarterback will be.
Derrick, you can't say words like patience. This is Alabama. You can't do that. That's a cuss word almost. We got to put you in timeout. No, not really, but you're absolutely right. When it comes to this offense and even the defense, we got to be patient. There's a lot of new faces, and we're going to talk a little bit about that later when we're mentioning Alabama's college football playoff hopes for 2026. But new quarterback, new offensive line. You can't rush any of this. It all has to be developed the right way, or it just doesn't work at all. Pettey, where's your comfort level in whoever is leading the charge at quarterback based on how this system is run?
Well, I mean, the expectation, and it should be, is what he came here with, and that was what we saw him do with Michael Penix Jr. at Washington, which was what you said, an elite quarterback who could go through his progressions, hit the intermediate routes, and then pop the big one from time to time, and then create room for a running game that has 2 800-yard rushers. And Milroe didn't fit that offense when he got here, but he was the best talent on the team at the time, so you had to roll with that. So that first year was a pass. He was like, all right, we're just making it work with what we got. Ty had a good year going, man. The kid, people are always going to forget the story of Ty, and I think we'll get to him a little bit in the draft stuff. But there was a stretch in the year where Alabama railed off four wins against ranked teams. Ty was healthy, keyword healthy, and he was in the Heisman conversation. Ty gets banged up in the Missouri game. The offensive line turns into a mess, and the running game goes obsolete, and he didn't have the year. But I think the expectation always goes back to what we saw with Michael Penix Jr. when they got here. That's why we were so excited about DeBoer, Grubb, and this offense, because they had, not one 1,800-yard receiver. They had 4 800-yard receivers, right? And Bama's got that depth and talent at receiver. And I mean, we've seen the flashes with. I know Derrick is it's hard to argue with Derrick here. I'm never going to do that. He's forgotten more football than I'll ever know, and been around people that know it. But I do expect it to be Keelon in the flashes we've seen. And again, I think it boils down to we expect Penix type numbers if he's that type of talent. If he's the talent we expect him to be.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. DeBoer quarterback is basically the point guard with the deep ball. Efficient, smart, accurate, decisive. If whoever is at the helm this year can be consistently process fast and hit those intermediate deep windows, this offense can look explosive. If not, we've seen what it can do. It can be derailed very quickly. Stalling is not really the accurate word. I got to ask, guys, how confident are you that we're going to avoid, stalling out with a new quarterback in place? Running backs, to me, I felt we're getting an upgrade. Offensive line to be determined. I know it's very early on, but where's your confidence level that this offense can actually take off this time around? Where are you at, Derrick?
Well, based on what I saw in the spring game from Russell, he has a pretty good grasp of the offense. I don't think the quarterback position will be one that we're going to have to worry about. I think either him or Mack are going to do a really good job. My concern is the offensive line. Right. Obviously, you have to have a good offensive line to have a run game and a pass game. So I think in the beginning, we open up with a cream puff. So, we should be able to handle them pretty well. The second game, it gets a little tougher. So hopefully they'll develop some continuity, the offensive line, and it'll give us a rhythm. I'm curious to see who's going to be the leader of the offense. We have a lot of new parts. Is Ryan Williams going to step up and be the leader? So there's a lot of questions offensively. So I'm looking for us to do well the first game, and the second game will be more of more of a, how can I say, test for us to see what we're going to look like going on for the rest of the season.
Key words there, Petty. Offensive line. Any video that I've put up or we've put up collectively, the comments that immediately follow are can't do anything without an offensive line. Yeah, that is correct. Where's your confidence level that this offensive line under Coach Clem can actually be better, and this offense can actually begin to look like the bill of goods that we were sold coming in from Washington?
1,000,000,000%, I believe it can be better, because if it's any worse, we won't have the same coaching staff at all next year. It will all be because it's going to be, because if it doesn't get better, it's you've got a young quarterback that's going into a 9-game SEC slate, which is, something that's, and I'll tell you what, man, I know what my eyes tell me. I know I really follow the history and the trends on how coaches handle certain situations. When you've got a star quarterback coming up, there's a lot of heat from the media, the fan to win. He's your guy you're riding on. So I feel, and what we have seen the spark from Keelon. But I'll be honest, man, with Derrick and both Marvin saying they're not sold that this is a done deal, and we have seen flashes from Mack, it makes you think it's not done. But I'll say this, if it needs to be decided to avoid that stall out, and it's going to require an offensive line that's gotten better where these quarterbacks can get comfortable, because if not, man, it could turn into we're trying to get a quarterback comfortable all through the season, and you don't find out who your guy is, and it becomes a mess. But it's definitively on the offensive line to get better. Man, the talent's there. Just if they get, I think there was so much rotation last year and so much just doubt. It can't get worse. That's me babbling. Yeah, it's going to be better, but I got to see it. I want to see the product on the field, but no, it's going to be a better product. But it's got to be, or otherwise there's not going to be consistency in this offense to move, regardless of who's throwing the ball.
Not only do we need a quarterback decided by a game, whatever, an offensive line needs to be decided. The musical chairs that we played last year led to ultimate disaster. A starting five with maybe a rotational piece needs to be established out the gate. Have everything set in stone. Have the offense confident in what they're going to do. I do have to ask too. Back to the quarterback situation. How soon does a decision need to be made? Is it game one, or does it need to be game three? Because, game 3 and on is when that schedule gets really dicey.
Oh, we don't play. I thought we played Georgia the second game.
No, they're a little bit later down the road.
Okay, who do we play?
It's on the road to Lexington in game 2.
I know it was an SEC team. Yeah, sooner than later. I think what's going to make the offense go is who the players trust the most. Pulling the trigger. If it's Kalen, if it's or Mack. So Keelon or Mack. They'll know. They'll let the players know who's the better of the two players, and they'll follow that guy into war, and they'll back him up and hopefully play well for him. But he has to gain their trust, and they have to believe that he's the guy.
Got a question here from Josh Harris before Petty goes. Where's Marvin and his extra medium black tea tonight?
Oh,
well, actually, I'm glad you brought that up.
Had a fire sale, and he could not miss it.
There you go. We should have mentioned that.
He was giving it to Ha Clinton Dix because that's about his size.
That was his peace offering.
Dang, there we go. A man who's been keeping it in the house is just kindling that fire right there.
No, Clinton is not that big. Marvin's he lost a lot of weight. Marvin's
yeah.
Marvin's a safety now. He's no longer a middle linebacker.
That's it.
He better watch himself. Clinton may run up on him.
Actually, I heard that they're in couples therapy with Dr. Phil. I can hear it right now. Marvin, why are you angry? No, in all seriousness, folks, Marvin is out tonight because his stepfather passed away this previous week. So they are in, I believe, St. Louis at the funeral. So keep the family in your prayers if you don't mind. We're all family, so we're all going to look out for each other and pray for each other. Pettey, you had a point to make before I rudely interrupted.
No, you were. I was interrupting you finishing your point, my man. It's funny. I was thinking I changed my stance on the QB thing just by looking at a team last year. You know, we're going double agent style here. Everybody does want, you got to have your quarterback decided by game one. Well, not really. Going into last season, Kiffin and Ole Miss, their quarterback was the kid who's now starting at Missouri, and he was, preseason All SEC because of one drive. Austin Simmons at his one drive against Georgia. He goes into the second game of the year for Ole Miss on the road against Kentucky and struggles. And a kid named Trinidad Chambliss comes in and kind of saves the day that game and becomes the guy, and the team rallies around him. So your answer is funny. You get East Carolina. That's a game you should take care of at home. On the road, Kentucky, it gets a little nasty up at Kroger Field when they're giving away free discounts at the grocery store. But
yeah,
they're going to be ready for Bama. They always play good defense at Kentucky, so it's going to be a test for these quarterbacks. So that's the game where you find out before you catch Florida State at home. So by game 3, I think we're going to have a good idea who's going to be the QB before it's over. I mean, to ride the story. This
kind of reminded me of that season when Jalen Hurts took over as the starter.
Mm-hmm.
Who started it was like a 5-star guy. He was expecting
Barnett.
Barnett. And then he kind of pissed the pot and what's his name? I just said it. The quarterback. What's his name that I just mentioned? Not Barnett.
Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Your quarterback winning, your Super Bowl winning quarterback, Derrick.
Yeah, he came in. So that would be ideal for me, a situation like that. It could be flip, Mack could start, and then because I see more upside with Keelon than I do Mack, but he's younger. He'll make more mistakes, but he's going to be. I think he'd be more exciting. Matt he showed me something in the playoff game. In that playoff game, he came in and drove the team down the field. That's what I'm basing it off of. I know he was hurt in the spring. He got banged up a little bit, so that may have. But I think Keelon is the future. But he may be a one and done type of guy, Mac.
A statement here from Carnut 678. Quarterback selection is dependent on how our run game looks in the first couple of games. If we're struggling running the ball, I think we see Russell and has his athletic skills. Do y'all agree with that?
Well, I don't want to get the young fella beat up. So if we're struggling running the ball, they're gonna be coming after the quarterback. And that Mac is a pretty big guy. He looks like a tight end if you see him.
Yeah, he's a big kid.
Yeah, so I don't want to get him beat up. So I don't know. That's up in the air, that question.
I'm gonna be positive and say that our running game is going to be a lot better, and the offensive line is going to be opening the holes, and we're going to be balanced. So I like what Coach Clem's doing. Anywhere he has been, he's produced some of the best rushing attacks in the country, and same in the NFL too. So I have no doubt that he can do this at Alabama. I mean, hell, it's Alabama. We're running back you. It's what we do. Yeah, we've been off our game here as of late. But if anyone can revive what's been missing, I think it's Coach Clem.
Yeah, and Justin, to your point, man, not just because we've had the kid on the show and we're a fan, but Daniel Hill, man, we watched this kid change his body since he got to Alabama. I don't understand why people aren't higher on him. I know he wasn't a 1,200-yard rusher last year, but behind a discombobulated offensive line, I saw a lot of balance. He was very much became a weapon at times out of the backfield. And if he's lost the weight and added the strength and kept the strength that they say the numbers he's had, I expect Hill to be again, I'm with you, Justin. And if, we're in such I'm going to say this a billion times on these shows, we're in such a microwave society. And it's like we forgot the era that kids do develop. Kids do get better over time. We expect A.K. Deere to have been Cadillac Williams when he stepped on campus, because that's the frame the kid's out of, or Daniel Hill to be the next Eddie Lacy. It takes time because he was a big kid coming out of high school. But man, I'm with you. I think this running room has the running back room has the potential to be really dang good, a plus.
Hey, Petty, out of all the running backs you could have mentioned, you mentioned the guy from Auburn.
Well, the reason, and I know I mentioned, and I do that, and people get mad, but Cadillac ran different, and there he was a little wiry than most Bama. Bama didn't. He's a different back than Bama usually had, the big bruiser or whatever, or the speed guy. Yeah, I know. Forgive me.
Yeah,
you called me out. Now I'm trying to backpedal because you're right.
That's that Mississippi coming out in you.
Oh yeah, well,
I think AJ Deere problem is pass pro. I think that's what him off the field.
That's every high school kid right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, but you have some of those kids that come up, pick up right day one, like Ohio State's running backs. They seem to have a freshman that is like All-American every year.
Knowing how to block.
Then they know how to block. Yeah, it's you have to get into the books, and a lot of backs were lazy. I'm gonna be one to admit that I was lazy. I didn't get into my playbook as far as blitz pickup. I knew all the plays, but understanding the defenses is you're in high school. We didn't really look at defenses. We got the damn ball and ran it. 4-3-3-4, 2-man, 2D, 1D. We didn't know blitz pickup. We're getting the ball.
No, hold on a second.
But I'm kind of glad you called that out, though, because and you're right. Your whole high school career, you were the best athlete on the field. So they're like, take this damn ball and get in the end zone. You didn't have to block nobody. But it shouldn't take long. It's not like you're having to get in a 3-point stance and learn the technique of driving a defensive tackle off the ball. Some dude is coming like a bat out of hell through this hole. You see him getting his way. Like become a roadblock.
Speaking of blitz pickup, Derrick, I got to call you out on something. I talked to someone that's in the know, and matter of fact, he was in the locker room with you. He said the reason why you didn't pick up the blitz very well is because you skipped leg day. And he said when you're jumping on, trying to get first down, your legs are like this.
I don't know that. I never skipped leg day. If he would have set up a body, I would say yeah. But for me, it's. When I was coming from New York. So the guys down.
That was Antonio Langham who said it, by the way. So consider the source.
Okay. So I think it was either him or George T.
Antonio strikes me as that dude, and I don't want to call a man out. That was just so damn athletic. You never saw him in the weight room. It was like, where's Langham on workout day?
You know what? I used to see him in there a lot.
He was physical.
He'd be fooling around in there. I don't know. But you didn't want the wrath of Gene Stones if you didn't go in the weight room. You missed your weight room appointments. But yeah, he was one hell of an athlete, Antonio. He was different. You could tell he was going to be something special when I got there. He picked up day one like he'd been there. Even with the players, it's one thing to go on the field and do your thing and pick up everything, but when you connect with the players day one, it takes some adjusting to get used to the upperclassmen and stuff. But he fit right in, maybe because Pierre and he had cousins and relatives that were there. Pierre was there, Clyde was there, so comfortable.
Terrence.
With the guys there. Terrence Lynch, yeah. T-Lynch, I forgot about that.
Man, I don't want to sidetrack it too much, Derrick. But since you are new to the show, we're going to maybe do some sidebarring with that era, and it's the off season. There's only so much damn stuff you can talk about. We got a minute. Did guys, that era was so. That was the era of heroes to us in college football. Where we were falling in love with the guys. Did dudes like Langham and Teague stand out amongst even the guys would they come on field? Were they just different back then? Because you were different. Like you were too. So I'm asking one of the dudes.
Well, that was kind, but no, you knew Teague and you knew Langham was going to be real special. You knew Teague was going to be special because he played as a true freshman, and that was almost impossible when we played. Started, and I knew Langham was going to be someone because he seemed to always be around the ball in practice. You look at him, he's skinny, he's lanky. It's like, is he really going to be a player? But he was a ball hawk, always around the ball, very cerebral, very smart on the field. So he anticipated the receiver's route by the way they lined up. He was a student of the game. A lot of people don't know that. He clowns around a lot, but he is a very wise football player. I mean, he really studied the book. The greatest play, one of the best athletes I've ever.
I was going to say who was the biggest freak in that locker room, but this may be a different answer. So
Danny Woodson.
Yeah.
Hands down. Danny Woodson took the ball in the end zone, took one step and threw it 97 yards. One step. I mean, he ran a 4.3. He was 235 pounds. He was 6'2". He could have played running back, tight end, wide receiver, quarterback. He could have started on the basketball team. I'm telling you, David was one of the most elusive players, but one of the greatest athletes, I think, was Danny Woodson.
Started on the basketball team. You do realize that Hollywood Robinson, Robert Ory, and Sprewell were all there at the same time, right?
If he wouldn't have been starting, he would have been coming off the bench. He was 235 pounds. He could jump out the gym. I mean, he had a nice jump shot. Hell of a defensive player.
So before we get back on task, I do have to ask. Of course, Langham was put in the Hall of Fame. If you had to nominate anyone else from that 92 team to be in the College Football Hall of Fame, who would that be?
Shit, excuse the language. I was surprised that he got in before Curry and Copeland.
Ooh, that was the names that always, and I was from Mississippi, so the names, I'll be honest, were Curry and Copeland that you heard first.
And Langham said them first. He said, "Why isn't John Copeland in the Hall of Fame?"
I said that to him when David Palmer was getting inducted to. I said, and I told the guys like Curry and Copeland are not in the Hall of Fame. I was like, who nominates? Who does the nominations? You know what I'm saying? Because I'll nominate them right now if it's players or you have to be from the state of Alabama to nominate. I don't know the rules, but I'm surprised that they're not in the Alabama Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree wholeheartedly. Well, because in an era that wasn't real far off the hills of Biscuit and DT, and they weren't a big, like, it wasn't like the defensive line dropped off big great. I mean, they were dominating the hell out of folks. I'm with you. That's a great answer. Thought you might have gone with my Hillcrest guy, Derrick Oden, but
now, shoot, you talking about a strong man?
Oh, yeah.
The only person I know stronger than Derrick Oden was Robert Stewart. They were 1-2. Robert Stewart had him by a little bit. He was bigger.
So I always tell the story on here of when I moved to Tuscaloosa in high school and I saw the newspaper with Marvin. I always tell that story because Marvin's on the show. The part of the story I don't tell is when I walked in my locker room for the first time. All there is pictures of Derrick Oden and his workout records. And I got home to my mom that night and I was like, Mom, I think my high school football career is over because the dudes in this place that I think they all go. I think they make them to go to this Alabama place, and I'm not one of them.
He was a freak, but Robert Stewart, Derrick Oden, he would set the bench record, right?
Yeah,
the highest bench. So Robert Stewart would walk in there. Yeah, he would walk in there cold now and put on 20 pounds more than Derrick Oden did and just boop and leave. Ask anybody on the team.
That's crazy. Man,
just one of those
dudes. We know how much he could bench, squat. He was all muscle. I'm like, he must have eaten steroids. I was saying. But he played running back and nose guard. Come on.
You were eating Fruit Loops, he was eating steroidos.
Well, that training table has some special dishes on there, didn't it?
Hey, listen here. That's the story about Derrick and Robert. Derrick would mess with anybody and everybody except Robert Stewart. Big Rob, he started messing with Rob on the bus. Rob said, "All right, now." Dio sat down, and he'll tell you the story.
We need to get Dio on here and talk about that. And
I can get him on. I'll get him on.
Get Derrick. I would love to get Dio on here.
Yeah. All right, this shift gears back on track. Alabama's college football playoff hopes. We've been this past year. We missed the previous year. Year 3 is a very important year for Kalen DeBoer. We've already talked a little bit about the schedule. No favors here. After the third game, we got South Carolina, Mississippi State is not your ordinary Mississippi State. It's going to be a much improved Mississippi State. But then it's the gauntlet, folks. Georgia, Tennessee, Texas A&M, LSU. Of course, then we go to a rebuilding Vandy and Nashville. But I don't know many teams out there who can get through all that unscathed. So we have a lot to prove year 3 under Kalen DeBoer. The heat is on, right? So realistically, what are Alabama's college football playoff hopes? With the caveat being, we've already said it, we've got so many new faces in key positions, players who've never played with each other, players who were redshirted, haven't really had a lot of burn. That's a lot to take on, especially with these expectations. Realistically, I know we've got enormous potential with some of these guys, but potential hasn't shown us anything yet, right? So realistically, Derrick, what is Alabama's chances of making the college football playoffs and even a deep run?
I like our chances. I think there's going to be a lot of cannibalization in the SEC. A lot of teams are going to beat each other up, and you're going to have a loss from a team that you should have beaten. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that's going to happen. Teams that are better than us, who we play, I'll say Georgia. I think their roster is a little better than ours. But other than that, who else? Texas A&M. I think we're about equal to them. The difference is Texas A&M has a starting quarterback. Georgia has a starting quarterback. Everybody else, Tennessee, their quarterback, is he coming back? It's the same quarterback.
They've actually got a quarterback competition right now between two young guys.
Yeah, so they're kind of who else? Mississippi State.
They have a very talented quarterback that if he's on, he could be in the Heisman race. But if he's struggling a little bit as far as growing, it could be an interesting year. But Mississippi State's got a squad.
Yeah, and South Carolina, South Carolina always plays this stuff. Everybody gets up for Bama. So I say we can go through the season with 2 losses. I think we'll make the playoffs. And we'll go as
Pettey,
deep as our.
You did a show. Pettey, you did a show called The Opening Kick at one point with the illustrious Smoke Dixon. He is gone from our studio, but not forgotten. And the ghost of Smoke Dixon is here every now and then, right? He says in order to get to the playoffs, but also get deep, you got to win in 3 phases. The administration, the head coach, and the quarterback. Oh, and on defense, you've got to have a closer. Does Alabama have what it needs in each phase in order to get that, not only get the playoff, but get to the title game?
Man, it depends on if you want to look at this in the tunnel. Yeah, but if you look at the rest of the league, we've got to, at some point, train ourselves that college football is completely reversed and that each year is going to be one of its own self. You're not going to have the Alabama 15-year run followed by the Georgia 5-year run. You don't, we talk about offensive line, and I've actually started diving in. I don't know any team that's real comfortable with their offensive line out of the top. They're starting 5. There's just no depth anywhere anymore because you're not going to keep 10 defensive linemen. They're going to go play somewhere else. It just is what it is. So can they? Yeah, I do. I think Pierre showed signs. I think there's talent on every level of this defense. I think the linebacking core got better. There's talent all over the secondary. If Pierre can become that closer at end and get the sacks, if our boy Collins, D-line, steps up and takes the next step, what does this offensive line do? But man, we're every year it seems like there's a new switch to college football that's uncharted territory that we really don't know. And this year it's, hey, we're doing the 12-game playoff again, but the SEC is now going to a 9-game schedule plus an SEC championship game, which 2 years in a row now has taken a quarterback out. So I don't know. I don't want to give the political answer. Yeah, Bama can. Yeah, they did it last year. I think they've got. I love Ty. I think the quarterback room can be better, regardless if it's who it is this year. I think there's more I think the offense is going to take a step up. I do think we're going to have a more cohesive offensive line. I think you got a better running game. But, man, that stretch of Mississippi State, Georgia at home, on the road to Tennessee, which, by the way, it's no longer the Alabama-Tennessee rival of 6 wins for one team and then 7 wins for the next. Kind of going back and forth with them, and they've won in Knoxville the last few times. Got to go to Knoxville. Then you come home to an Elko Texas A&M squad that's not playing like Texas 8-4 anymore. They've got a quarterback that's now a complete seasoned vet, and that kid is a straight-up danger on the edge. So Texas A&M coming at home is a program that's not going to, it could get dicey real quick, and then you got to go face Lane in Baton Rouge. I don't know. Lane had a monkey on his back with Alabama when he was at Ole Miss, but I'm not sure if that monkey was who was standing on the sideline or it was the Crimson A. You never know when it comes to Ole Miss because Alabama always kicks Ole Miss's ass. So we didn't know it, but it sure seemed like Nick Saban had Kiffin's number. But you got to go down to Baton Rouge, and that's coming off the A&M. It's a freaking juggernaut. I tell you what, he gets through and goes to the playoff this year. Everybody needs to shut the hell up for a while and give DeBoer some time to win some football games, because you go to the playoffs with this schedule. I don't care who your roster is. I don't care if you got Ohio State's roster. I don't care if you got Oregon's, Georgia, whatever. Anybody's roster in this schedule is going to have a hell of a time getting to the playoffs. Because, our man Derrick said it best, there's going to be some cannibalization in this league, because if you look on every schedule in this league, there's a stretch like Alabama has. So what's the committee going to view a 9-3 SEC team like? Because go ahead.
What is our ranking as far as, I know we're ranked 15, but strength of schedule, has that come out yet? The strength of schedule, and what's Alabama?
I couldn't say offhand, but if I'm looking at the schedule, it has to be top 5 just based on the 5-game stretch that Pettey just mentioned.
Yeah, because I know Georgia's ranked number 1. I know Texas A&M is ranked pretty high. I know LSU is ranked pretty high.
Yeah,
I think Tennessee may be ranked after us, 17 or something. So that's 4 top 20 teams. So that's a pretty tough schedule.
And don't overlook Florida State. They did very well in the transfer portal too. So, yeah, please don't overlook them after this past season. But my biggest thing, Alabama the past 2 seasons has been a play-ahead team. When everything is clicking and going right, they're playing at their best. Yeah, everything's fantastic. But when things go wrong, there's a little bit of adversity, they're punched in the mouth, they've laid down. That's my biggest question. Are those guys who were laying down and were quitting when things got tough, are they gone? Is all that toxicity been pushed out of the program right now? We had a lot of guys leave. They hit the portal. I think initially when Ha made that tweet that kind of started this whole feud, and I'm not trying to start this whole thing over again, he was trying to point out that, hey, these guys were uber talented. There's no question, but their production didn't match their talent, and neither did their effort. And by the way, these guys were asking for more money. And sometimes guys don't leave because they want to. They're leaving because they're told to. We had guys that quit. We had guys you couldn't count on. Talent through the roof. They didn't produce on the field. So that was the whole point behind Ha-Ha's tweet. He was coming to the defense of DeBoer, all of the fans who are going after Kalen DeBoer for letting these guys leave. Now, he may have gone about it in the wrong way, but I understand the thought process behind it. So my question is, are the guys who were a part of the lay down squad gone? And do we have a team full of DeBoer buyer inners? And that's a Mississippi term, I'm sure, but I just came up with it off the top of my head. Can
you translate that, Derrick, from Mississippi East to New York?
Yeah, to have a straw.
some Kalen DeBoer dogs. We some dogs. Some guys are gonna go out there and hunt. Some hunting dogs. Listen, that's to be determined whether or not we have dogs, guys who are not going to quit. They don't look at the score. They're just playing one play at a time. I think that's key. When we played, we didn't have a lot of blowouts, but the blowouts we did have, we really never looked at the score. We wanted the other guys to get in there to play to get some experience. So hopefully we have those type of players that they want to go out there, they want to play their best, no matter what the score is, and play at 100% the whole game, the whole time. You know, like you said, we had some guys that laid out last year. Their body language was terrible, but to me, that reflects leadership. So, you know, I'm looking at Kalen DeBoer now, you know, offense coordinator, defense coordinator. Your guys' body language is terrible. I mean, you know, and who are the leaders on the team? Snatching them up. But the guys are different. The kids are different these days. I'm making $1 million. Don't tell me. You can't tell me nothing. I'll just go somewhere else.
That right there, I know that it's been said by several people that it comes down to coaching. Well, back in your day and even leading up to 2019, 2020, before the transfer portal actually went into existence, you could coach with an iron fist. You could cuss people out. You could bench them. You could say, wait your turn. And they would fall back and they listen. But now the transfer portal, the NIL makes all that off the table. It's hard for a coach to have control of a team like Stallings, Saban, and anyone else that was known as being a dictator when it came to being a coach. Even Nick Saban had a hard time his last few years. And we were on a three-way call one time with a former Saban player who said, and I quote, in conversation with Nick Saban, he looked at his former player and said, I can't control them anymore. I don't know what to do. That's when I knew college football as we know it was over. I just brought the mood down. I'm sorry, folks.
No, you're
Pettey, say something funny.
Well, let's say it like this. The college football era that we knew is over because ratings definitely don't say that it's over because ratings, that's the thing that's craziest about all this. And and look, this is man in the mirror talking right here. I've bitched and bitched about the changes in college football, but I'm also turning on these championship games. And when you see the ratings for college football, that they're not going down. So yeah,
well, you know, it's because there's what do they call it? There's continuity. Yeah. They don't know who's going to be in the playoffs and who's going to win. Every game is exciting. People get tired of Alabama winning all the time because, you know, we have the most talent. We have the best coach. We have the best standards, tradition. So, you know, in the barbershop, the talk of the barbershop is the kids getting paid all this money. They losing their desire to get to that next level. You know, we wanted to be coached hard because we knew that was going to make us better. When you get to the NFL, yeah, you're going to get the check, but you can get fired. And then that's going to affect your family if you're not performing. So it behooves you to perform. Oh, I'll just transfer to another team. No, they'll cut you. And then coaches, you'll get a bad reputation. He's not an effort player, so nobody's going to want you. You know,
I want to ask you, Derrick, because you happen to be the only person on this panel with a resume of college football and the NFL. You said that, man, I question the money and the desire because, look, it wasn't of the same level, obviously. But, man, unless you lived in the world of unicorns and rainbows, blue chip players have been getting paid since way, way before your time. So that's nothing new. It's just not at the level it was. But the problem was you got paid, you got there. Oh, man, I got this money. I'm paid. I'm playing. I don't like this. The girl you promised me on my trip she like some other dude. I want to go back home. Screw this. You know, and the coach was like, nah, we paid you. You're going to stick it out. And you stuck it out for 4 years. Now the kid can say, I'm out of here. So how much more? And again, so you get to the NFL, you're getting paid. But you can't midway through the season say, Coach, I don't like it here. I'm going to hop into free agency and go from Dallas to Washington or from Dallas to Kansas City. So you still had a contract you had to adhere to, even though you were getting paid more than third string offensive tackle, which people get so worried about in that. So that's my question, man. If you dropped the transfer back to the 1-year deal, unless a coach leaves or something catastrophic, how much does the money? Is it more money or is it more the transfer portal? Because if it's not, it's just the NFL model, right?
I mean, it is. But you know, high school, you could be playing in the rinky-dink league and performing, and you know, I don't know how they get these 4 or 5 stars. Some guys, like, look at Josh Jacobs. He was a 3-star. You know what I'm saying? How in the hell was he a 3-star? Some of these rankings, I don't know where they come from, first and foremost. And then, that translates on that level. But playing in the SEC is a different ball game. It doesn't necessarily translate. So when we got there, you said we got paid, right? So we may have got some vending machine money to come, right? As you perform,
got you an RC Cola.
Yeah. As you perform, you meet a couple of boosters, and what I'm saying? You weren't getting paid by the university, but after the game, after you performed, the better you performed, the more money was going to be in your envelope, from what I heard, from what
love offering.
So to speak.
A love offering from the church. That's what it was.
The refrigerator when you got home was a little more full of food. And
exactly. And so the bigger the game too, depend on who you were playing.
But again, you didn't have that choice though. If coach benched you for Sherm, or hey man, Derrick's gonna do. We're putting Deuce back here. He's getting all your carries now. You've worked for it all these years. You couldn't say, all right, I'm out of here. I'm going back to Syracuse. I'm going to go to Syracuse and finish out my career and ball out up at home. You were like, I'm stuck here. Even, again, so I really question, is it the money? I know with the toothpaste out of the tube, everybody wants to bitch about both of them together, but I don't think it's the money. I'm always going to go back to Tyrone. Like, there was millions of people in that stadium with that dude's jersey, and his career went just like Marvin's out on that field. I am a proponent of these kids getting paid for what these stadiums fill up these days because of them. So and that's why I really want to ask someone like you, because you did it in the pros. Like, those guys get paid, and there's differentiating amounts of money from the quarterback to the kicker or whatever, and people seem to get over their egos. So is it more of a transfer portal, or are these kids, are they getting too much and it's taking their drive away?
I think they're getting paid too much and it's taking their drive away because, if you take me to a buffet and I hadn't eaten in 3 days, I'm going to eat like I was hungry, right? But if I just ate an hour ago, I'll pick over it. I may eat this, I may not eat that. So you lose your desire. We competed. We used to always say, hey, man, we got to push each other so we can make it to the league because we want to get that big check. And that's how we talk. We love football, but we wanted to take care of our families. We want to get to the league so we can take care of our families. These kids are able to take care of their family now, so they kind of lose that hunger and desire to be the best. There's very few players that, I can't say very few. I would say 30 to 40% of them, they would play football if it was for free. You know what I'm saying? They go out there and you can just tell. That receiver from Ohio State, I don't care how much you paid him. He would play football because you can see how he loves the game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Certain guys you can tell.
Jeremiah Love.
Yeah. The love back from Notre Dame. He loves the game. You have to love the game more than you love the money, because eventually
I've mixed the two, Love and Smith.
Well, actually, I'm glad you mentioned that. If you love the game and money, then you'll love our big sponsor, and that's Prize Picks. What is that? It's America's #1 sports picks application. Prize Picks is a daily fantasy sports platform distinctly separate from sports betting. Ooh, it's real easy to use. Apparently, it's not easy to say. Excuse me, that's Mississippi in me. So this is how it works. Pick more or less on a few player stats to create a lineup. Pick stats for individual players, points, yards, strikeouts, all that good stuff. Team picks. Pick the winner, spread, and total on any major game. It's available in most states, including California, Texas, and Florida. Sign up for Prize Picks with the code HMA and get $50 in lineups instantly when you play your first $5 plus lineup. The link is right there, but also it's in the description of this video. Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. All right, guys, so we got a very special.
Derek, they became a sponsor of ours because Marvin. They know Marvin's a sucker.
They picked up on the addiction.
I'm gonna tell you, I do a little prize picking myself now.
I do too. I just don't bet on Bama every game against the spread. Like they don't go 12-0 against the spread, and I think Marvin thinks they do.
Man, listen.
But I appreciate the pride. So does
Hey,
Prize Picks. So does Prize Picks.
Hey, don't bet against the spread, but do bet on yourself. And this is the week where all these former Alabama players are going to be betting on themselves. The NFL draft is here starting Thursday night, then Friday and through the weekend. A lot of guys' dreams are going to come true. Derrick, before we get started, man, what do you remember the most about your draft experience?
Well, that's 3 or 4 parts. I remember going to the combine, and it was. Listen, I got to be blunt and honest.
Go ahead.
Please be.
This is gonna sound harsh, but when I was there, I was like, "Damn, is this the slave trade?"
Damn. I knew that's where you were gonna go.
Yeah, they had us
auction.
Undressed. They had us undressed. They're looking in our mouths. They're looking how long our arms, our hands are. We're in our skin.
Hey boy, I'm gonna need you to sit down your underwear there.
Yeah, we're lined up one by one. It's like that's what I thought of when I was at the. I was like, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing that stuck out in my mind. They were prying and poking, and it was crazy.
We got a prize cap over here from Alabama. Look at the caps on that one.
Yeah.
No, I mean, they put you in underwear. The famous ones always the ones that are worse, like Tom Brady or God bless him, Terrence Cody. But yeah, man, I couldn't imagine, man. They just put you in some little underwear and start like pointing everything out like you're a model. Like,
yeah, your fingers, your length of your fingers, the width of your hand. I'm like, what? Am I playing football or?
You answered my question. So was it the underwear Olympics the same in your era? Is it evolved or was it just like it is now?
Listen, I haven't listened. I don't, you going a little deep for me. I don't watch them when they're in their skivvies. So I don't know.
It shows.
Good point, Derrick.
Because they put them in your tights. And look, it's almost like they forget what they did in their NFL or their college careers. Like, oh my God, that guy that caught 3 passes just ran a 4.1. Let's sign him to the Raiders in round 1.
That's Al Davis.
I call it the underwear Olympics.
Yeah, but no, we were in our straight up briefs. If you had briefs or boxers, that's what we were in. I don't know what they're wearing today. They might be wearing tights or something, but yeah.
That's why I call it underwear. You see, that's what it was.
That's right. It was the tighty whitey triathlon. That's exactly what it was.
That's why you got to listen to your mama. Always have a clean pair of drawers. That's if you're going to the combine.
Well, let's talk about this group of Alabama players looking to go to the NFL draft. Shout out to our boy Jaden Roberts. Looking forward to what he's going to be doing, where he's going to land. Only pick up the phone for the Ravens there, Jaden. No, seriously, wherever you go, we'll be excited for you. But talk to me, guys. I asked before the show if you guys would pick out one player you feel like maybe it being talked about enough, but that will be a diamond in the rough, or when he gets to NFL, he'll blow up. The career path takes off, and man, we're talking about it for years to come. Start us off, Derrick, and then we'll go to Pettey, and then I'll give mine to round us out.
I'm going to go with the linebacker, Justin Jefferson. I just like him. I like his size, his length. I like the way he plays. I like his speed. I like his intelligence. I just like everything about the kid. I think he's going to have a long and very promising NFL career.
Great pick. Pettey, where you stand?
Man, I think this is almost a no-brainer. I think we're going to look up 10 years from now, and Parker Brailsford's going to just have one of those NFL careers where he plugs in on the Eagles or the Steelers or whatever, and just has one of those, long-standing great NFL careers on the interior of the offensive line. I think he's a slam dunk for whoever gets him in the draft.
Hey, live chat. Who do you think is going to be the diamond in the rough this year for Alabama? It might be the obvious. It might be Ty Simpson. A lot of folks are saying he is first round, hands down. A lot of the draft experts, Mel Kiper and his paid-for hair, are all of a sudden jumping on the Ty train. It's like they forgot about him halfway through the later part of the season, and now all of a sudden they realize, hey, he can play some ball. But yeah, who is your guy? I'm gonna
Mel
give mine.
Kiper's hope that any dumbass can make it in this world.
My question is, why does my check not match his? Because I can probably do what he does.
God.
Matter of fact, all his little projections never end up being what what he says they
He's
are.
worse than a weatherman. I don't know anybody that's as inaccurate as that dude that gets a job. And people, hey, man, you see Kiper's predictions? No, I don't know.
So if he
listen, you always hear these secret societies. What secret society does he belong to have that job for this long of a time and to be so bad at it? You know what I'm saying?
So the key is, if you're an NFL draft hopeful, pray that Mel Kiper does not hype you up, because that's the kiss of death besides going to the Browns.
I didn't know he gotten on the tie train. That scares me.
It does scare me too. Well, let me get to mine as everybody starts to filter in their choices. When you talk about Alabama's NFL draft prospects, there's one name. Somebody in the chat's already named it, Jeremy Bernard. Honestly, he might be one of the more underrated players in the entire class. And he's projected right now, I'd say around the second or third round. But when you turn on the tape, you understand why I'm so high on him. He's got versatility, polish, and production that is grown year after year. As soon as he touched down in Tuscaloosa, he made an instant impact. And he's not just one-dimensional receiver. You can line him up outside in the slot, even move him around as a utility weapon. And he's comfortable running the full route tree at all levels. Love this kid. And some people have commented that he might not be as quick as they like, but hey, he's a guy who gets the job done. And yeah, he may have disappeared a little bit towards the later part of last season, but hey, we're one-dimensional offense. The defenses knew exactly where the ball was going to go. But when a big play needed to happen, Jeremy Bernard reemerged. Look at that Oklahoma game, that amazing catch over the Oklahoma defender, just held on to it, brought it down. He is a game breaker, a game changer. I love Jeremy Bernard. That's my pick.
Yeah, you know what NFL player that he reminds me of? And a lot of people are going to be shocked. Chris Carter.
Ooh.
His style, the way he plays reminds me of Chris Carter. And that may be going back too far for some of you guys.
No, it's not. Chris
Carter.
People should mention him in the same breath as Jerry Rice, honestly.
Oh, Chris Carter?
Yeah.
With the bad, if it came around him, he caught it. If it comes around Jeremy Bernard, he catches it.
I don't think I ever saw Chris Carter drop a pass, honestly.
Nah, doesn't get. He's probably one of the best receivers to ever play the game. But I love that. I love that comparison, and I actually love that call, Justin, because talking about the NFL body, like that guy's physically ready to go and go compete for the ball with NFL defensive backs. Bernard's got a high ceiling in NFL.
Absolutely, folks, get them in. Now let's go to our other sponsor. These guys need a nice ride to get to the NFL draft. Pettey, who do they need to see?
They need to see Smith Infinity of Huntsville. Like I said, our man Kenneth Darby has already reached out about that QX80. He wanted that big ride. I guess that's how running backs roll. Marvin was looking for one of them sporty QX65s that just hit the lot. But man, hit Smith Infinity. If you're anywhere in the Alabama area, you don't just have to be in Huntsville. Great Alabama family, just great family overall. That's the Smith family of Smith Infinity of Huntsville. If you're looking for that new ride, hey, it's scrolling across the whole time of the show. There's the number right there. Call today and get you in one of those new Infinity, Smith Infinity of Huntsville. Give them a call today. Roll Tide.
Absolutely. And one last sponsor. Listen, it might be the off season. That does not mean that you can't celebrate the Tide. I was thinking about Ty Simpson as the NFL draft approaches. But hey, baseball season's still going on. Bama softball is tearing it up. You need to go support both those programs with your own title towel. Go to www.whitwillsports.com today. Enter the promo code STANDARD. You get a nice discount courtesy of the Bama Standard Network. That's right, folks. Always support your Crimson Tide with your very own title towel.
Gummit, this fan base and their softball. I know Jimmy Clay just went nuts because you gave a shout out to the softball team. And look, they had a fantastic walk-off win against Kentucky this past weekend. The softball team is hot right now, but do not sleep on this baseball team. They get the least love out of any freaking major program at this university. They've got a top 10 RPI right now, and maybe the deepest, best, most competitive sports league in all of any sports you've ever seen is SEC baseball right now. Literally, teams 4 through 13 are separated by one damn game. And look, Alabama's at the top of that heap. Sorry, I just had to give a little love to those Diamond Tiders because, man, the baseball team's playing really good right now. And their shortstop, LeBron, is a special player. If you haven't got to watch this kid on the diamond, he's not going to be there much longer. He's about to be a first-round draft pick. Go give the kid a watch. He's special.
Absolutely. Tell you who else is special? That's our audience. Now it's their turn to be center stage. So we're going to start out with Josh Harris. Call me nuts, but I think Trayshawn Brown can be our breakout star in the backfield this year. Kid is dynamic and can catch. Hopefully, he can pick up blocks. He didn't skip leg day.
Yeah, tell him to get in that playbook and learn defenses.
He's picking it up, Derek. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to see anything from A-Day, but this kid, he looks ready. I mean, he's a freshman, and, yeah, he's got some things to learn, but, my gosh, I think Josh Jacobs, as soon as I see him. Yeah. Is he at that level yet? No, but you can see a lot of similarities, and I bragged about him before A-Day for a reason. This kid's going to be special.
Yeah, I saw the burst. I like his burst, the way he, hits that hole.
Actually, I sent you a clip. I forgot completely about that. All right, Kelly Weathersby. Are the coaches teaching the running backs to block a good bit better? If you're going to play for Coach Adrian Clem, you better be blocking. And that's not just offensive line, but the running backs, yeah, they better be blocking. It's going to be a requirement, or you're not going to find yourself a spot on the roster.
Well, I think the running back said, well, hell, the offensive line ain't blocking, so why should we block? We're getting beat up. Well, our quarterback get beat up. Those are just jokes. But no.
Absolutely, yes. All right. Don, confirm or deny, the SEC should go back to 2 divisions, East and West, 8 teams in each. Where do you stand?
No, because too many years, one side would be lopsided, and so you would have to get like the crappier team on one. Like the top 2 teams in the East or the West would be the best 2 teams, Alabama, LSU, or the years where Florida and Tennessee and that whatever. No, I like we're the only ones that are like, so you don't take the top 2 teams as the champion. I kind of like the way they do it now. And look, we're about to go to the NFC North and the AFC South with the Big Ten and SEC anyway, so it's about to get even more convoluted.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to go backwards. Yeah, it's constantly evolving. Absolutely. It's inevitable. Well, I miss those days, but they're gone, unfortunately.
Well, and I just kind of talked myself in a circle. If we do go to an NFL format, the AFC's got 3 different divisions. So what you may see is 3 divisions within the SEC at some time, or 4, like someone else said.
Mm-hmm. All right. We appreciate that. Now, Melissa, Todd Fan 07. Do you all think if it goes bad this year, will Bama and admin turn to the portal for older players and stop laying in a lot on top high school recruits, paying them to develop? I don't think Alabama has never deviated from the formula of get them from high school, develop them, and turn them into monsters. But then again, I mean, that seems to be the formula these days. I mean, ask Indiana. They were 30 years old with 401ks.
Mm-hmm. I think we're following the basketball. That's how they're doing it in basketball. They may get 2 high school kids come in on a team, and then they recruit the kids from junior college because they want more mature and developed players. So that may be the model that we're following.
Well, if it goes really bad this year, the admin may be going to the portal for a new staff, not a new team.
Well, according to Blake Sims, he said he's going to be the next head coach.
Oh, well, hey.
Well, you said bad. I'm thinking we not winning the national championship. As you know, as Alabama fans, we make it to the playoff. We win the first round. We lose to the defending champion. It's a terrible season.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And I thought our performance was piss poor in the game until I saw what Indiana did to
everybody.
Oregon. Maybe we weren't that bad.
The revenge win against Norman in the playoffs might be the most forgotten game in Alabama history.
Absolutely. And guess who, Pettey? Don Parker.
EP.
To the panel, are we going to identify that main person on this team that quit was Kalen DeBoer himself? Or are we going to overlook that part? If your heart is pumping, Rocky Road, the B, what? Honestly, I'm not going to say Kalen DeBoer quit this team at all. We already talked about it. We had players who weren't buying into him. It is hard to coach a football team and lead them to victory when you have players who aren't bought in working against you. Maybe I'm wrong. Kalen DeBoer loves what he does. You can see it in his eyes. He's fired up. He wants to win. I don't think he's quitting on Alabama at all, or he wouldn't be here.
Hell no, it's hard to coach these kids nowadays because they can't coach like they used to in the old days.
No.
They could get in our S, H, I, you know the rest. You know, you get on these kids, like we said, oh, I'm a transfer. You know what I'm saying? The portal and the money is hurting the game. I'm all for the money, but there needs to be some type of salary cap where quarterbacks make a certain amount of money, offensive tackles make a certain amount of money because those are the top two positions, and then everything else trickles from there. But you got to earn it.
The dirtiest joke of all of this is that you're never going to live up to the shadow of the greatest to ever do it, and the greatest to ever do it wasn't doing it anymore in this era.
Right.
Exactly. It's like Michael Jordan said, the greatest, the GOAT. He even said, how can anyone say that I'm the greatest? Because you had the people in different eras, and we played different style of basketball.
Right.
So you can say I was the greatest of my era, which is humbling of it. Everybody knows MJ's the GOAT, point blank, period. Any GM, if you had a player you were going to pick, the first player you're picking is Michael Jordan.
Be real, Derek. If he played in this era, he scored 70 points a game with the way they play defense.
Oh, yeah. They say 40, 45, easy.
In the first half.
Hand check.
He actually kept Hall of Famers from winning rings. The people they try to argue against him have not done that.
Yeah. Charles Barkley, there's something on YouTube.
Yeah, Charles Barkley, Sean Kemp, Gary Payton. There's a lot of people that don't have rings. I don't know anybody in this era that hasn't gotten a ring that wanted one.
Gary Payton ended up getting one. Don Parker, $5. We greatly appreciate you. The most notable quitter on this team was DeBoer himself. Let's keep it 100. I disagree. Look, y'all might not like the way things have panned out the past couple of years. But he hasn't once quit on this team. I know we as Bama fans, we have expectations. Sometimes they're realistic, sometimes they're unrealistic. We can be our own worst enemies, but let's keep it real. No coach is quitting on his team. He would have been in Michigan if he was quitting on Bama.
Because he wanted that, he had that job if he wanted it.
Yeah. And I'm big on character. I've never known him to be a quitter. He's won everywhere he's gone. So it has to be frustrating for him. He may be looking at himself in the mirror. Did I take the right job?
Yeah.
Did I get the right players? Do I have the right coaches? Because it's as we say, it's a little different in the SEC.
And to win, you had to have a perfect storm of a lot of things going your way, but also too, you had to have a lot of luck on your side too. Sometimes it takes blind luck to be able to win games. Lou Holtz said that.
Oklahoma won 3 games in a row this year where the opponent outgained them in total yards. Yeah, you got to have some luck.
Can you guys see me?
Yes, sir.
I don't know what's going on with my computer. It's just
as long as you can hear us, that's all you need. But we can see you just as good. All right, Don Parker, another $2. Let's give a big roll tide to the ruler, Obafemi from Lagos, Nigeria. That's right. WWE fan right here.
Nice.
James Knox, when do the adults running the system get held responsible for now developing better pros? Maybe he was not developing better pros.
Ask Marvin.
Who's developing, Derek? What coach is able to truly develop a player now?
Hell yeah. Because it depends on how long you have them.
The ones at South Florida and North UNA and South Alabama, and the ones that are feeding the SEC schools that get the kids that need
North Dakota State.
Why is that because it seems like that now. Like my favorite is a great example is Fluff Bothwell, the running back from Mississippi State, had a great year this year. He was a 3-star kid from Aniana, Alabama. Nobody knew who he was, but he was rushing for 2,000 yards and running all over everybody in 3A. But because now there's 28-year-old men playing college football, kids like that are definitely headed to the South Alabamas. They play 1 or 2 years, get developed, and now he's in the SEC playing at Mississippi State. Am I crazy? It seems like the development's happening at those schools now.
Absolutely. And that's one of the biggest gripes the NFL coaches currently have is the fact that once they get to them, they're basically had to start from square one because they'd never gotten the development. A lot of these guys are being 1 or 2 year mercenaries. I mean, yeah, talent can get you somewhere, but development is what creates a long-term prosperous career. But they're missing that. You can't tell them that no more. Well, then again, we're allowing it though.
How much did you get developed at the? I mean, how much was you just working your ass off, or how much was it coaches really getting you there?
Oh, your coach is definitely getting you there. You had more coaches that were more knowledgeable than others. Like Larry Kirksey, I forget who was my coach.
Great man.
Larry Kirksey was my coach most of my career. I think the first 2 years it was I forgot who was the coach. That's why, I know I wasn't being developed because I can't remember who he was. But Larry, like Coach Kersey, hey, he held us responsible. He wanted us to know the defenses, the fronts, the coverages, what offensive linemen were doing. He'd have you get on the board and draw up the defense and draw with the offensive linemen, who the offensive linemen were supposed to block and who you were supposed to block. And, so that taught you the game. That developed you mentally. And I know he pushed you out on the field. Hey, listen, Sherman, he'll tell you. You got that young boy nipping at your tail now.
Well, that's the other aspect of it, Derrick. You had a run back room full of NFL stars constantly pushing each other. Iron sharpens iron. Yes, the coaches can get you here, but man, your brothers constantly competing against you can take you beyond that point, right?
Yes, most definitely. I'm thinking more of the mental part of the game where the coaches are developing the players.
Yeah.
The physical part of the game, Sherman was more shiftier than I was a slasher. Sherman could do things I couldn't do. I could do things Sherman couldn't do. But we complemented one another. Chris Anderson, he could run a tall sweep like nobody I've ever seen. It seemed like every time he ran a tall sweep, he was going for 70 yards. I was like, how the hell?
But before that, you had Saran Stacy too.
Oh, Saran was so shifty. He was like Gale Sayers. So yeah. Saran was before he hurt his knee. I remember we were battling for the starting position. A lot of people don't know this. I got hurt because I won the starting position job. I was supposed to start as a sophomore. I pulled my hamstring. Saran gets in the game. I pulled my hamstring in camp when I hurt my shoulder. And then Saran goes off the first game, and the coaches said, "Oh, you don't lose your job through injuries." And then he goes off the second game, and the coach is like, "Well,
but you do lose it to a guy
back up."
That was 91, right?
Yeah, that was 91. Yeah.
Who put you on the shelf? I know you and Derek Thomas had a run in at one point.
Oh, Keith McKenzie.
Keith McKenzie, yeah.
He wasn't supposed to bring me to the ground. The dumb guy. I mean,
That's another guy should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but he brought me to the ground. Boom! I separated my shoulder.
Keith McKenzie. Tell me where he lives. I'll go take care of him for you, Derek.
Yeah,
he passed away.
Listen, Keith knows a lot of my. He knew a lot of my family down in that Mobile area. Yeah.
He passed away a few years ago.
Did he really? Man, I didn't.
Yeah. He had a lot of issues, Keith, man. He
battled a lot.
He was a hell of an athlete also.
Man, that dude was a hell of a lot, man. He was hell on defense.
Oh my God. I never met anybody who, Saran could run all day, but Saran wasn't his size. Keith could run all day and not get tired. You know what I'm saying? At that size.
You're right.
I had his classics card. I remember they had them classics. That's the whole draft. And I had Keith. I remember I had Saran's, I had Keith McKenzie.
I have them both. I have Derek's card still too, by the way. I hadn't got it signed yet. Don't know why. Anyway, I bleed crimson, bro. Y'all think what's that?
You don't want to devalue it. My card, you said?
I have your rookie card, yes.
Yeah, I got it too.
Don't let me sign it.
I'll bring it to KJ's event this year.
Okay.
Dude, that's the way you say that devalued. There's a golfer that was Ben Crane. a Pro V1 golf ball is $5. He had signed one, and somebody put it on eBay for $3. He's like, "Holy crap! It costs $5 in the store. My name on it is $3."
All right, we got I Bleed Crimson Bro. Do y'all think Proctor is still going around one? I think he absolutely does.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's without question.
And honestly, I think a lot of his issues at Alabama were due to a poor offensive line coach. Coach Cap made players worse. But I think, what's up?
That's my little man. He's a basketball player. He's gonna be about 6'4" to 6'7", they say.
Is he already a 4-star?
Yeah, probably so. He played organized basketball for the first time. He made the All-Star. He was a leading scorer on his team. He likes
how many you average a game?
I average 10 points a game.
What's your celebration look like?
I don't have a celebration.
But your dad had one of the most famous celebrations of all time in college football. You've got to have one.
I told Mack like he's been there before. His daddy was a little, hey, you got to teach him a little better.
Man, that was my favorite era of celebrations, and I'm gonna hurt y'all's feelings. My favorite one was on another SEC team.
Who was it? Who was it?
Petty.
Oh, Eric Rhett.
I loved Rhett. I don't know why I loved Rhett's thing, but I love that deal. I did that all
Buccaneer.
When I was playing yard football, that was my move.
So I took him to the spring football game. So now he's a big Alabama fan. We went to the South Carolina game.
There you go.
Loves Alabama basketball, which I'm trying to get him up there. But his favorite team in college basketball.
Alabama.
Oh, it's Alabama now. Okay.
Okay, roll tide. That's what's up.
I'm gonna let you shoot it up now.
Showing that jumper. Good night.
All right. Well, in all seriousness, I think Caden Proctor is going to be a stud in the NFL under the right coaching, the guys who can truly develop him. He's going to become a monster that we thought he was at Alabama. Unfortunately, he just didn't have the right guys coaching him up.
Yeah, I thought what's the guy, Evan Neal? I thought he was going to be a monster. I hope he doesn't turn into Evan Neal. You know, guys like that.
But if you go to the Giants, you're doomed anyway. So there's that.
But guys like that, they have weight issues. I hope he's able to control that because, it'll be a problem if he's overweight in the NFL.
Don Parker, question for the panel: do we have a real kicker? I don't think it's going to be an issue this year. If y'all remember, y'all quickly forget how well Connor Talty played the later part of the season. He couldn't miss, and he made some much-needed kicks in serious times. But the guy who came in from Marshall, Lorcan Quinn, the Irishman, was booting 47-yarders at A-Day with ease, and he was doing the same in practice. We've got kickers. I think special teams as a whole, i.e. the punt return and kick return game, that's what we need to improve greatly. We have not had a special teams unit, a return unit that's set up well for the return game in the past. How many years? We had no threat when it comes to the return game. That's something that we've got to improve on greatly.
I put Yanze Brooks back in there to return those punts. Yeah, that kid is
Lanzier, yeah.
Lanzier.
But you got to have the guys who are setting up the blocks too. We didn't have those.
Yeah. You got to have guys who want to be out there, making a difference.
Haven't they changed the punting rules this year? I got to look back on what it is, but they've kind of made a change because of the whole rugby style punting is completely taking away any return game. I think they've made it where the center and the two guards are not a part of the line or whatever. You can't touch them. So it's going to be able to where you can overload sides of the offensive sides of the line to maybe offset. So it's actually going to be interesting, man, because I know we mentioned we hadn't had a punt return game, but you watch over college football, nobody does. They've changed it. They've made it obsolete in both the way the kickoffs are done now and the way the punts are done. So I'm actually interested to see if the rule change kind of brings back some traditional punting and getting some punt returns.
Absolutely. This is for you, Agent K 6547. Just want to say, been a fan of yours, Mr. Derrick Lassic, since you first played for Bama under Stallings. You're a real OG.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, man. We love fans like you guys who remember us, and even when we were playing, you guys celebrated us. We appreciate it. We love the love that you guys show us.
Gelato, thank you for the super chat. Do you guys see what Steve Smith, the NFL wide receiver, said about Gunnar Stockton? Anyone catch that?
I didn't catch it. Steve says a lot of stuff.
He does say a lot.
Steve's a talker.
Just a little bit. Nah, he also did. He also proved it on the field. So,
play it for the Panthers.
All right, Don Parker, $5. I seriously hope Jaden Roberts not only has a long NFL career. I hope we also be all pro for many years. We also, hope he is all pro. Absolutely,
Jaden Roberts,
it's coming.
Right in. Who's Jaden Roberts? The
right guard.
Right guard. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Squats like a bazillion pounds.
Yeah.
All right, that brings us to the end. We've done overtime, but that's what you come to expect with this show, right? But it's been good quality content. Hey, before you get out of here, people in the chat, pay attention to these guys on the panel and where you can find them. Derrick, you're part of the panel now, so are you firing your social media up? And if so, where can they find you? And then we'll go to Pettey.
BL_25 at Instagram.
Okay. I see you got a profile picture now. That's what's up. You're coming along.
People kept, spamming or what they call hacking my Facebook. So I just cut it out. I cut it off, but I'm a redo it. Open it back up.
All right. Oh, quick question. Put you on the spot from Agent K. Derrick, who's better, you or Sherman Williams?
Well, it depends on if it's 3rd and 3 or if it's 2nd and 7. I'm gonna give me the ball 3rd and 3, 2nd and 7. I give Sherman the ball.
Politically correct answer. Love that.
Your team. I don't think you. I don't know if y'all ever realized. I think I talked to Roosevelt about this when we were having a cocktail the night after the event last year. But I don't know if your team will ever understand the impact y'all had outside, like what y'all built for Alabama at the time. Marvin talks about it. The SEC was on such a drought of winning national championships, and it seems like it's always Alabama. Look, the SEC is the SEC. It's got the best conference, the best talent, but it always seems like Alabama's the one that always reinvents it and puts it on the map.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the Rose Bowl win then. That's what the South was, a downtrodden area, and everybody rallied around Alabama because it was the only damn winners and what Bear Bryant was doing. And people in the state of Mississippi, like my dad, bought Coca-Colas with Bear Bryant on it. Well, then the SEC goes away. The Big Ten takes over. And then in 1992, I'll never forget, I'm in Jackson, Mississippi. And I just want to give some super flowers because, dude, doing this show with you, you're awesome. You're a good guy, all that. But I do want to step back every once in a while and give a little flowers to what we haven't forgotten. But back to the point of the story, though, is, man, I'm in Jackson, Mississippi, and I remember Miami was all the swag. We didn't know they were talking shit to y'all like they were on Bourbon Street, but we all knew what Miami was. That was the cool team. They were beating everybody by 30. They weren't that blue-collar team. And I remember in Jackson, before we went to the Christmas break, everybody, Miami's going to whip Bama. Everybody in the locker room was Miami. I remember all my boys, Miami. You get back from Christmas break and everybody had Alabama Bombers. Roll Tide, man.
Absolutely.
Once again, when it had died out, your group was responsible for making Alabama fans outside of the borders of Alabama again and making so many people throughout the South and the country become, start wearing that crimson, much like the Saban era, then did it again. But, man, I don't know if I've ever said that or if you ever realized the impact that you in particular had on kids past just the boundaries of Alabama.
Oh, well, thank you. I tried to be an example for the youth. I stayed out of trouble. I tried to do things the right way. I played with emotion, and I played hard. That's what my high school coach taught me, and my hero was Walter Payton. So I try to leave it all out on the field, and hopefully our team won. Sometimes you're not on the winning side of the stick, but that year we happened to win 13 in a row, and it was a tremendous accomplishment. You know, we set that goal the year before when we lost to Florida. We said we don't want to lose again. We want to get Florida. We got them in the SEC championship games a little closer than we thought. And then, you know, we were being disrespected by Miami. And Coach Stallings usually has a grand speech for the game. Him and Nick Saban need to, you know, do a podcast and see who has the best.
Oh,
speech.
gosh, yes.
Was Stallings a good pregame speaker? He gave a good get you ready to.
Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness. You know what I'm saying? It's about 5 to you can pretty much, he had it timed. It's about 4.5 to 5 minutes. So when we're in New Orleans, you know, we're expecting that 4.5, 5 minutes. I'm probably back in the back, thinking I have more time to get taped up and looking at myself, making sure everything is right. And he said, "Hey, fellas, they talk about everybody in your family, including your mama. I would do something about it." And that's all he said. He said they talked about everybody in your family, including your mama. I would do something about it. And
That's a great impersonation, too, by the way.
I would do something about it. That's great.
Hey, Agent K, we'll get to Pettey. I wish I could get his autograph. Derrick, how can you help this man out? Hey, Agent K, we're going to be in Dothan, Alabama on July 15th and 16th for Kevin Jackson's celebrity golf tournament. Derrick will be there. We'll be at Buffalo Wild Wings one of those nights doing a show, and Derrick will be there. So if you're in that area, come by.
And they usually have free pictures for you to get, and we'll sign it. I don't sign for autographs. I may change now that I'm on a Bama Standard. I'm a celebrity now.
That's right.
Now you're famous, Derrick.
I'm a new security.
My wife said she was only nervous on Bryant Denny's field twice when she was, you know, doing her thing in the band, and it was their first time ever. And then one of the times she's standing on the field and she just happens to look next to her, and it's like he showed up like a ghost, and there was Gene Stallings, and he looked down and said, "How you doing, young lady?" And she said she forgot all her shit at that point.
He's had such a smooth voice. That was a cool customer, man. Coach Stallings was cool.
Yeah. Pettey, it took a while to get to you. How can they find you on social media?
I'm sorry, I derailed it, man.
You're good.
Had to get Derrick going on his first night.
Absolutely.
Man, you can find me on Pettey, Daniel _Pettey, Pettey_. It's under here. Read it under here. I don't know what the hell it is. Find me on.
You don't know where you are anymore, Pettey?
No, I don't know where I'm at. I'm here with Derrick Lassic.
That's it. That's all that matters.
You can see me in the back of it, in a little blur on his Sports Illustrated picture. There's a little blur of me back there.
Yes.
Somewhere.
That's what that blur was. All right, folks. That's fantastic show. Thank you to everyone who was a part of us and the audience. If you're watching a replay, get in the comment section. We definitely want to hear from you, but hey, stay tuned. We don't stop in the off season, and we also don't stop just because there's disc videos about us. We keep rolling. We're going to be keeping you entertained throughout the off season and through the regular season. We'll have some seriously awesome guests. We're going to get Derrick Oden on here too. So y'all get ready.
I want to get Oden on here. And man, I might be the only idiot showing everybody like, hey, there's a disc video and I'm in it. I'm famous, biatch.
I'm going to definitely get Dio.
Yeah, we got to get Dio.
Yeah.
That's going to do it for all of us here at the Bama Standard. Roll Tide, everyone.
Roll Tide. Champion of the OG Denny Dog.